Welcome back, my legends, to the strongest legends based on lore part 3. Now, let me explain what happened and why it took forever to do this list. And the reason is because I was taking it way too serious. Now, this whole thing is supposed to be for fun, but I was actually trying to look at every little detail and trying to really think to myself, okay, what would happen if this legend actually was in a match and used this ability? And long story short, it became very frustrating because there are details that made sense and details that didn't make sense. For example, Caustic. Caustic is literally one of the most powerful legends lore-wise because his gas can, just by activating it and being exposed by it for like a few seconds, would literally take you out of the games because it's supposed to burn metal. But as you can see in this trailer, Mirage is not like, melting away. He's actually just like coughing and like struggling to breathe. So I decided moving forward that I'm going to try my best to make sense of what would happen if the legends actually did competed in a game against each other. But it's basically going to be on speculation and pretty much having fun with it. Now that I got that out of the way, let's see how strong Mirage is on this tier list. So let's begin. Now, there's something special about Mirage that I want to discuss with you, my legends, because Mirage is the only one that's had an ultimate change where instead of him going invisible, he has a new ultimate called the Life of the Party, where he deploys basically 5 Mirages. 6 if you count the decoy that he can control. But here's the thing that got me wondering, how many decoys can Mirage put in the arena? And my guess was somewhere between 20 to 30 Mirages max. But the Apex writers may have given us an idea how many decoys Mirage can actually put in the arena. Well, if you remember from season 5, Mirage says that he felt bumped down, but not just him, all 189 versions of himself. That is crazy. Imagine an arena with 189 decoys of Mirage. Now, is this technically canon or is this some kind of joke? I have no idea. This is kind of too specific to be a joke, but just to be safe, I'm going to say the Mirage can do a lot of decoys. So this just tells us is that even though Mirage can only like throw one decoy gameplay wise, in reality he can do like 10 at the same time and control them. And what could be even scarier is that his ultimate, the Life of the Party, instead of 5 decoy Mirages, it could be somewhere like 20. It's insane how strong Mirage really is. And what makes it even more crazier is that Mirage seems like a guy who's all talk and no bite, but that's not the case because in one of the lore loading screens, Bloodhound actually compliments Mirage in saying that, hey, even though he seems like a goofball, he is a true warrior. That is coming from Bloodhound. So the fact that Bloodhound literally said that, hey, Mirage is a true warrior in battle, that is high praise coming from them. So not only that, but Bangalore actually says that Wit has had my back more than once and that he's even got a chuckle out of her. So the fact that Bangalore is actually giving praise to Mirage, and remember, Bangalore is a former IMC soldier, so the fact that she's saying that, hey, again, another person giving high praise to Mirage. So Mirage is somebody who actually walks the walk, and he also did beat technically Bangalore this one time, although some people have argued that maybe this is when they first met, so Bangalore didn't know about Mirage's abilities. But regardless of that, Mirage technically did win the fight against Bangalore and saved Wraith. And what's also interesting is that Mirage is one of the few characters that can technically counter Bloodhound, because when Bloodhound uses their ultimate Beast of the Hunt and Mirage has decoys, he can literally distract him and not know who is the real one. So Mirage is one of the few characters that can not only counter Bloodhound, but he can also counter Revenant. And that's insane because Revenant's power is literally to shut down the other legends' abilities. But if he cannot hit the real Mirage, then Mirage is going to put decoy after decoy and make such an annoying fight for Revenant. But I don't think Mirage will win that fight, but he will give Revenant a run for his money. And the last thing that's crazy about Mirage is that he can actually counter Wraith, because Wraith does get a warning from her head that, hey, you're in danger. But here's the thing, if Mirage sends a decoy towards Wraith, she's not going to know if that's the actual Mirage or not even the other dimensional Wraiths, because the way Wraith's power works is that she cannot predict the future. Her Wraiths only give her warnings of something that's going to happen to them via other Wraiths warnings. So for example, Wraith was seeing that Voidwalker was fighting and somebody was sneaking behind her, and she said, behind behind you, and that's how Wraith knew that, oh, okay, this guy's behind me. So if Mirage sends a decoy towards Wraith behind her, she's going to get the warning that says behind you, but she's not going to know if that's really Mirage or a decoy. So what's going to happen if Mirage plays it really smart, he will send a lot of decoys towards Wraith, and Wraith is not going to know in their head that who's the real Mirage or not, because again, they don't predict the future, they just get warnings, and that's it. So Mirage has a lot of potential to be an S tier character, but I'ma put him at B. And I know some of you are saying, Kevin, after all that, why are you putting Mirage at a B tier list if he sounds like a solid A? And the reason is because Mirage actually plays passive in my opinion, because remember, he has a sick mom, and the worst thing that could happen is that he dies and leaves her alone with nobody. So because of that, I think mentally he's not a person that is going to willingly be aggressive. He's going to play more passive or play like a secondary role because of his mom's situation, because sometimes he doubts himself. I don't think Mirage is ready to be put on the A tier list yet, but if he ever overcomes those setbacks, he can clearly easily be an S tier legend. In fact, I'm willing to go as far as to say if I could choose somebody's powers, I would choose Mirage's powers, because they're honestly OP if you really unlock their full potential, which I don't think Mirage has done yet, and his mental state is kind of holding him back. But if he ever does overcome that, he is clearly an S tier legend, but for right now, I'll put him at B. Next person we're going to talk about is Wattson, and I'm just gonna get this out of the way. Unfortunately, because Wattson is more of a supportive character, she's not going to be high rank on this list, and there's a reason for that. It's really a trend from what I found, and that's because Wattson, based on her abilities, Wattson is a team player. She's really good in the end game. There's a reason why she's the most picked legend when it comes to like actual tournaments, but unfortunately, lore wise, Wattson is honestly not that strong. Her abilities are really good if you're able to lock down a certain area, or maybe you want to make like a choke point, but I honestly see Wattson as the type of person that says, okay, this building is like near the center of the map, so let's go lock that down and hold it down. I see her more as a person that strategizes and tries to win the match via endgame. The only reason I can see Wattson being higher on this list is if her electrical fences actually do a lot of damage, but as we can see gameplay wise, people can go through it and it will only hurt them a little bit. Now, to be fair, I'm pretty sure lore wise, her electrical fences are going to hurt a lot more, and some people are going to say that I'm downplaying her abilities, which I can kind of agree with. So Wattson, I'm gonna put her in the C tier list, but here's the thing, she's borderline B, but the problem is that we have so many question marks about her abilities. Like, is her electrical fence like a taser, or is it like when you get hit by lightning? Does her ultimate stay for a long time, or does it stay for until it runs out of batteries? And let's be honest, Wattson's fences are not that hard to destroy, and you can see him from a distance. So unless you're getting pushed by the ring, and Wattson was just able to plan ahead in a well-placed fence, it really shouldn't be much of a problem. So I know a lot of people might disagree with me, but as for now, I think she's a solid support player, borderline B, but until we get a little bit more information, I'm not, comfortable putting her in the B tier list. But yeah, and that thing that'll do it for this episode, my legends. I know some of you are going to say, Kevin, you only did 2. Well, this is what happens when you have to overly explain people's abilities, but trust me, I actually had fun doing this. It was really exciting. I didn't have to stress about little things that made no sense, and I think I'll do this more sometime soon. So I'll see you all next time. Peace.